Hey, action fans, strap yourselves in for the Action Hero podcast. We break down the most gripping action stories out there. From blockbuster hits to hidden gems, we're serving up a daily dose of epic showdowns, daring escapes, and heroes facing impossible odds. I'm Adrian, your guide through these narrative battlefields. And joining me today is Julia, our resident expert in uncovering amazing stories even in the most unexpected corners of the fictional world.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia, and I'm always thrilled to embark on these narrative adventures.
Today's story is going to blow your mind. It's a head-on collision of classic chivalry and a gritty cyberpunk dystopia. Picture this, Don Quixote. But instead of tilting at windmills, he's battling megacorporations in a futuristic wasteland. And trust me, this isn't a comedy. It's a story that packs an emotional punch. So, let's set the stage. Imagine a sprawling, polluted megacity ruled by corporations. In this concrete jungle, we meet Alonso, an elderly man grappling with Alzheimer's. But here's where it gets interesting. His mind escapes into a world of knights and quests, and thanks to some salvage tech, he becomes the Scrap Knight.
It's a brilliant and poignant concept. Alonso's armor is a patchwork of discarded tech. His noble steed is a hacked e-scooter. And his helmet, complete with mismatched VR goggles for a visor, lets him see the world through this filter of heroism.
And what's fascinating is how the story explores the way his tech almost seems to be trying to make his delusions real. It's a blend of technical ingenuity and a really touching commentary on the human condition.
Exactly, to everyone else. He's just a confused old man. But through his tech, Alonso sees a world brimming with honor, beauty, and quests worth fighting for. This contrast is key to understanding why his character resonates so strongly.
And that's where our second main character comes in, the Squire. They're a neurotech intern whose job is to clear cases like Alonso's, essentially preparing them for state care. But something about the Scrap Knight, his unwavering conviction, draws the Squire in. You might be wondering why the Squire is even given a name.
Well,
That ambiguity is crucial to how their identity evolves throughout the story.
yeah. What's intriguing is how their relationship unfolds. You have the Squire, who's likely encountered countless heartbreaking cases, starting as a detached observer. But they gradually become Alonso's unlikely accomplice, helping repair his armor and rewiring his steed. It's as if they're being pulled into his world, too. And that transformation is a key element of the story's emotional core.
Now, let's talk about Alonso's quests. His delusions send him on these wild adventures through his eyes are straight out of medieval romances, for example. He rescues a data courier from indentured servitude, which in his mind is a classic damsel in distress situation, complete with dragons and ransoms. And this is where the writers cleverly use the unreliable narrator technique. It's a literary device that allows us to see the world through Alonso's heroic lens. But at the same time, we're aware of the tragic reality of the situation. This creates a layered narrative that keeps you constantly engaged.
Right. And there's this other instance where he disrupts a corporate executive's VR paradise using hacked cleaning drones. Alonso perceives it as battling a horde of vengeful harpies. These scenes are not only entertaining, but also offer a sharp critique of the very systems that have marginalized him. It's like the story is asking us what defines reality and who gets to decide.
Things take a dramatic turn when corporate security, who initially dismissed Alonso as a minor annoyance, start seeing him as a real threat. The city brands him a cyber terrorist, a term often used to demonize individuals who challenge those in power. Suddenly, the stakes are higher, and the final quest becomes one of survival.
And what an intense escape it is. The Squire, who's become deeply invested in Alonso's well-being, guides him through the city's underbelly, desperately trying to stay one step ahead of the authorities. The story masterfully paints this picture of a desperate flight through a world that's both technologically advanced and morally bankrupt.
Their escape leads them to a forgotten garden patch tucked away within the city. It's an oasis of sunlight, birdsong, and rogue code amidst the dystopian chaos. It's almost as if they've stumbled into a secret paradise.
And this is where the story delivers its emotional gut punch. Alonso, frail and fading, knights the Squire with a battered saucepan, urging them to fight the good fight. He dies peacefully, his mind finally finding solace in a simpler, kinder world that only he can see. What's so impactful here is how Alonso's death, while tragic, also serves as a catalyst for the Squire's transformation. They are left with a choice. Do they succumb to the apathy of the city or carry on Alonso's fight for a better world?
That's such a powerful moment. And it leaves the Squire, and us as the audience, wrestling with a profound question. In a world dominated by cold, unfeeling technology, is it even possible to fight for a world as it should be?
Welcome back to the Action Hero podcast, where we're unpacking a story that's got us hooked, a compelling blend of cyberpunk action and genuine heart.
Yeah, this tale of Alonso, the scrap knight, taking on a dystopian future while lost in his own world of chivalry, has really gotten under our skin. There's a lot to unravel here, Julia. What stands out to you as we dig deeper?
Absolutely. On the surface, it's a thrilling adventure with an unlikely hero facing impossible odds. But underneath, there's this powerful commentary on technology, societal neglect, and the essence of being human in a world that feels increasingly dehumanizing.
So how does this story speak to us as viewers, readers, or anyone experiencing this narrative? What can we take away from it?
For one thing, it makes us question the role of technology in our own lives. Alonso's tech, while enabling his delusions, also provides him with a sense of purpose and agency in a world that's otherwise cast him aside. Think about how much we rely on technology in our daily lives. Is it helping us connect, or are we using it to avoid difficult realities?
It's like his tech is both a gift and a burden, right? It lets him escape a harsh reality, but it also prevents him from truly connecting with the world as it is. And this story doesn't shy away from showing the consequences of that kind of societal disconnect.
Exactly. The city, consumed by efficiency and control, has no room for someone like Alonso, even though he's not harming anyone. In fact, his actions, even if driven by delusion, are often more humane than those of the corporations running the city.
That's a great point. Alonso might be tilting at windmills, metaphorically speaking, but he's fighting for something he believes in. Honor, justice, a better world. And in a way, he's more attuned to the problems of his society than those who are supposedly in charge. His madness becomes a form of insightful critique.
Precisely, and that's what makes Alonso such a captivating character. He's tragic and heroic, delusional and insightful all at the same time. He challenges our preconceived notions of what it means to be a hero, especially in a world where the lines between right and wrong are so blurred.
And then there's the squire, starting as this cynical, by-the-books intern and ending up as Alonso's champion. Their transformation is just as captivating as Alonso's. They go from detached observer to someone willing to fight for a better world, even if it means defying the status quo.
The squire's journey embodies the idea of finding hope in unexpected places. They see something in Alonso that the rest of society overlooks: a spark of humanity, a willingness to stand up for what's right, even when it seems impossible. And that's what motivates them to act, to become more than just another cog in the machine. It's a powerful message about the ripple effect of individual connection and how it can inspire change, even in the bleakest of settings.
I love how the relationship develops. It's not your typical hero-sidekick dynamic. They learn from each other, challenge each other, and ultimately forge a bond that transcends their very different realities.
Yeah.
It speaks to the enduring power of human connection, even when those connections are built on a foundation of delusion.
It does raise an interesting question, though. While it's heartwarming to see their bond flourish, could we argue that the story romanticizes a harmful delusion? Alonso's connection to the squire is largely based on his distorted reality. Is the narrative endorsing this, or is there a deeper critique at play?
That's a thought-provoking point. It definitely adds another layer of complexity to their relationship and prompts us to think critically about the ethical implications of the story's premise. This narrative doesn't offer easy answers. It invites us to grapple with these difficult questions. But what really gets me about this story is the ending, the way it leaves you with so many lingering emotions.
Yeah, that ending, it stays with you, doesn't it? It's bittersweet. Alonso finds peace, reunited in his mind with his Dulcinea, but the world he leaves behind is still broken. The squire is left to carry on his legacy, to fight for a better future, even though they're just one person against a system that seems designed to crush dissent.
It's a gut-wrenching moment that forces us to confront the reality of loss and the weight of responsibility it leaves behind. And the story doesn't let us off easy. It asks us, what would we do in the squire's shoes? Would we have the courage to continue the fight, knowing the odds are stacked against us?
The narrative compels us to consider the power of individual action, the importance of hope, even when faced with overwhelming despair. It reminds us that even seemingly insignificant acts of resistance can contribute to a larger movement for change. It's not about achieving grand victories. It's about the unwavering commitment to fighting for a better world, no matter how daunting the task may seem.
And that brings us to the heart of what this story is trying to tell us. It's not just about a man battling robots and corporations in a futuristic setting. It's about the enduring power of the human spirit, the resilience of hope, and the potential for change that exists within each of us.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that heroism can take many forms, and that even in a world dominated by technology, it's the strength of our convictions and our willingness to connect with others that truly make a difference.
This story is a call to action for all of us. It challenges us to look beyond the superficial and recognize the interconnectedness of our actions and choices.
It reminds us that even in the face of technological advancement and societal pressures, the fight for a more just and humane world begins with each of us. It's a fight worth having, even if it means tilting at a few windmills along the way.
Welcome back to the Action Hero Podcast, where we're wrapping up our exploration of the last knight errant. This story has taken us on quite a ride. Action-packed, emotionally charged, and full of thought-provoking moments.
It certainly has. It's a narrative that blends classic tropes with a futuristic twist, leaving us with a lot to unpack.
As we reach the final act of our analysis, let's delve into what makes this story so memorable. For me, it's the way it seamlessly weaves together thrilling action and genuine heartbreak. We have these intense chase scenes, battles against corporate drones, a desperate struggle for survival. But at its core, the story is a poignant exploration of memory, loss, and the enduring power of human connection.
That's a great observation. And what's particularly insightful is how the story uses Alonso's delusions, his fragmented view of reality, to actually shed light on the very real problems plaguing this dystopian society. He sees dragons and giants where others see corporate greed and societal indifference. But in a way, his perspective cuts through the facade and exposes the truth.
It's as if he stripped away all the pretense, all the technological distractions, and is left with these essential human values: courage, compassion, a longing for a better world.
And that's what resonates so deeply with us, I think. Even in this bleak future where technology seems to have eroded the human element, there's this flicker of hope, this belief that things can be different.
And that hope is embodied in the squire, who chooses to continue Alonso's fight for a world worthy of its name, even if it means facing seemingly insurmountable obstacles. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, we have the power to choose action over apathy, hope over despair.
The story underscores the idea that even small acts of resistance can have a ripple effect, that each individual has the potential to contribute to a larger movement for change. It's not about achieving sweeping victories, it's about the unwavering commitment to fighting for what's right, no matter how daunting the odds may seem.
So, listeners, we leave you with this. What would you do in the squire's place? Would you have the courage to carry on the fight for a better world?
Yeah.
Knowing the challenges ahead. Let us know your thoughts, because this is a story that will stay with us long after the final page is turned.
It's a story that reminds us that heroes can emerge from the most unexpected places, that even in a world consumed by technology, it's the strength of our convictions and our willingness to connect with others that truly make a difference.
And that's a wrap on another episode of the Action Hero Podcast. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another dose of adrenaline-pumping action and thought-provoking narratives. Until then, remember, even in a world of cold, hard tech, there's always room for a little bit of heroism.
And don't forget to rate and follow us for more epic tales of adventure and courage. Keep fighting the good fight, action fans.